I'm from the Mark Twain neighborhood. As I got older, just kind of fell victim to what was going on outside. Once I started to participate in those activities, things just kind of went downhill for me. Due to my introduction to, dealing drugs and stuff like that, I actually became addicted to heroin at a really early age, 16. So I battled an opioid addiction from 16 until 24. Ultimately, that led into incarceration in 2009, and I was released in 2019.
He watched us grow up, and the individuals I was around, we used heroin, we did a lot of stupid stuff. And I just remember watching him and seeing him start to gravitate towards those things. The crazy thing about Maurice is that even when he was young, he had a job, so he would work, he would hustle. So he always had a certain balance about himself. But I think the heroin, which really flooded our entire neighborhood, had a huge impact on him as well. I saw that take him down. I saw him go from being he's a handsome dude. I saw him go from that to being broken, being messed up. And then he went to the penitentiary. He did 9 years in the federal penitentiary for bank robbery.
I dropped out of college, so I really just utilized prison as college. Whatever I could get my hands on to read is just what I was into. I didn't watch TV much. I just worked out and read books and just really, really utilized that time to better myself.
And he's always had a certain head on his shoulders, even when he was in the streets doing certain things. So it's been beautiful to watch him maturate, begin to grow.
But I just really wanted to be someone that my family will be proud of. They had so many high expectations for me, and I just failed them in a lot of ways. So I really just wanted to come home to be a better son to my parents, be a better brother to my siblings, and be a better person to the community. My case manager at the time, she recommended for me to come to Mission St. Louis. I gave it a chance. Lo and behold, Jason Watson and I, we're from the same neighborhood. So we grew up together, and at the time he was director of JLT. And so when I came through the door, we hadn't seen each other for 10 or 12 years because I had been gone for 10 years. We just reconnected, and the rest was kind of history.
So he literally walked through the doors with a mindset where he was like, man, I'm really ready to do something different. And he believed that, he pursued that with everything in him, and he ended up getting this internship at this job, and he killed it. Next thing you know, they took him from doing that to he was working in the back doing spreadsheets and he running a whole thing, right? You always knew he had that in him. And I think he's a testament when we start to talk about recidivism, when we start to talk about the fact that people that are incarcerated are coming home. He is a perfect example of when a person is provided with the right resources, the right connections, the right opportunity that's really livable, the guys can really take advantage of those things. So that dude he blows me away every time I come in contact with him.
I ended up leaving because of a better opportunity. I was a machine operator for about 2 years. And then when I received the call from Jason, I just jumped at the chance to come and work for Mission St. Louis.
So now we've hired him at Mission St. Louis. I'm the dude that's hey, I want to hire the dudes that come from it. He's over our housing program. So we have a program that we call Home First. He oversees all of that. So he manages the property. He works with the individuals in that particular space. He's also a case manager. So he provides and connects individuals to resources and opportunity, things like that. So he's able to take the things that he needed when he was coming out and think about those pieces and make sure that those same services or more services are delivered to the individuals that he's working with now.
It's my passion. It's my passion now. I just couldn't see myself doing anything else. So Home First is our affordable housing program, offer housing to program participants. You have to be a part of our Each One program. And the goal of Home First is essentially to enable our clients to be able to afford market rate rent upon completion of the program. Some people were homeless, some people were on the verge of being homeless, and some people were, living with family members and stuff like that and just needed that transition to be able to be self-sufficient.
Man, that dude, he a young Barack. I don't know what he could be doing, but he has the potential to do sky's the limit. I tell him all the time, we touch stores and we walk on clouds, you know what I mean? And he definitely has the ability to do all of that. I see him being able to mobilize and lead people. He doesn't even realize some of the potential that's in him. So seeing him begin to speak and lead classes and things like that. So I think his future is so bright, man, that You know, I can see him running his own organization. It's endless. His opportunities are endless.
I'll be the first one to admit, I've done a lot of wrong. And so I took a lot away from the community. I feel like I'm really responsible for putting something back into a place I took so much from. And then also too, one of my jobs when I was in prison, I worked inside of a prison hospital. And it just really, I didn't know that I was that compassionate about people, and it just really taught me how to love people for who they are, take care of people no matter what. We were all in there for various crimes and stuff like that. So it just taught me really just to look beyond the surface at people, but everyone deserves a second chance and everyone deserves to be taken care of. So it just taught me a lot about myself. I didn't know I even had that level of compassion in me.
I get asked this all the time. The thing that brings me the most joy is watching somebody that says, hey, I want to make a change in my life, and does it. To see a dad that is entering into his kid's life, that's re-engaging with the family, that is succeeding at that job, and you begin to see the ripple effects in that person's life and the ripple effects in their family. And I think that that is the solution to poverty, because it comes down to where they live. The change happens from an individual to a family to a neighborhood.
I just really think it's such an open door policy here. I mean, you guys have seen it, just downstairs. People can literally walk in these doors with no hope, with nothing, and they'll leave with something. I just think like not having Mission St. Louis here would be a disaster for the community, honestly. And I'm not just saying it because I'm biased, because I work here, because of what the program has done for me. I mean, honestly, you really don't see that level of commitment, like an organization committed to the neighborhood like Mission St. Louis is.
So my hope and dream for our organization is that we are able to serve more and more people.
In a lot of situations, we're disadvantaged in a way. I mean, you're kind of born into it. And so to me, what Mission St. Louis represents and what they provide is just, I wouldn't necessarily say a way out, but the tools to get you to the point where you can get out. It's just a lot of things that people don't know about that they have access to. And Mission St. Louis is just full circle when it comes to just really workforce development, financial issues, legal issues, health issues and stuff. And so to me, they just bring everything together and just make it really accessible for people in the community.
So the reason that I started Mission St. Louis is because I wanted to address deep-rooted systemic poverty. We decided that the best way to do that was through education and workforce development, making sure that people were trained for a job and that they found the right opportunity.
For us, our heartbeat has always been, how do we find dignifying ways to support people, to remove barriers, to move them towards self-sustainability? We got our start in education, so we've been doing that work for about 16 years now with our program around Beyond School. So we're integrated into 3 local charter schools. They provide us with students, and we provide an individualized plan that focuses on literacy and math. We've been doing that work for about 16 years, and that kind of led us to workforce development. So we started to focus on men between the ages of 22 to 35, and just really seeing them carrying the cultural capital inside those neighborhoods, and how do we connect them to resources and opportunities so that they can continue to move forward. And then last but not least, obviously currently working with the mayor's office around violence intervention and what that looks like. What does it look like to go into particular neighborhoods that have the most violent activity, and then send individuals that are from those communities, that have respect in those communities, to engage with those individuals.
I have a level of compassion, not saying that other people don't have, but I definitely understand. I can almost look at somebody and tell, like, and when they tell me what they're going through, like I know, so I think I have more than just the advice, I have the life experience. I can apply, I can help them, like, hey, I went through this, like you can do this, you can do that, but really it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing, and you have to get away from it.
So I spent 2.5 years working in the near north side of downtown. I spent a lot of my time in the education space, and I got to see firsthand what our families were up against, what they were wrestling with, the needs that they had, and that really led to the start of Mission St. Louis.
Passion for this work comes from growing up in North St. Louis. So I'm from Walnut Park, specifically Mark Twain, and I grew up like many of the individuals we serve. Like, my father passed when I was young. Though she's the strongest woman I know, my mother's been a drug addict as long as I can remember. She's clean now. So I think going through all of those processes, like, kind of really prepped me for this work itself. I started using heroin when I was 14 years old. My best friend was killed when I was 15 years old. So at that point, life just seemed kind of chaotic, right? And I think for me, it came a point where I just kind of realized, like, man, I have so much more to offer the world that I need to make some decisions and some changes. So I ended up getting incarcerated. I went on a run for about 8 months. Some good friends convinced me to turn myself in. And I stood before a black judge and she gave me a second chance. I was facing 15 years in the penitentiary and she gave me another chance. And I think when I went through that process, I came out thinking like, all right, let me at least try to do something different. And that kind of set me on this beaten path that I'm on now. So I think now my heartbeat is really just to invest in individuals that come from where I come from. And more importantly, to be able to say, it don't matter what somebody's background is. Like, I didn't graduate high school, never been to college. Like, how do you end up an executive in an organization? And I think it's because you believe in yourself, you have talents and gifts that go beyond your normal education, and those things are transferable skills that could be used in any space. And that's really what I want to be able to share with others and encourage others as well. Started off as a success coach, and when I first came to Mission St. Louis, I was like, I don't care about nothing but the people I serve. And then I started to realize that I have a responsibility not to move upward just for financial purposes, but because you need people that look like me, that are where I'm from, that have my lingo, to be in spaces so that we can represent individuals as well. So that's a lot of my heartbeat.
I work for violence prevention. And see, when I go around, I ask people, what did it take to get them out the street? What type of resources it take to make them transitions? If they need certifications to get better jobs, if they need drug rehab. It's been a person that could stop something, and it took a long time for me to grow up because right now I'm 54 years old. I didn't start growing up till I was in my late 40s because I lived off my name. And when I talk to people, I'm talking to people in the perspective of myself. Also because I'm 54 years old, but I'm street as hell. You know what I'm saying? But it got to the point where enough is enough. Most of my trouble really came from me taking up for people. Really came from me standing up for my friends, standing up for my family. Somebody is messing with me, here I come. So I was never able to get out of trouble because I always ran into trouble for other people. And then to the point where it got to a point where I liked hearing my name. So I would wake up to do something to hear my name more. And it just led to a whirlwind of stuff that I'm blessed to come through, that I'm blessed to be here to talk now today. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been shot 9 different times. Stabbed in my head, in my sleep, stabbed in my side. Shot at, I couldn't even count, you know what I'm saying? If they did data of all the years, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a walking blessing. So I took that and I realized that I'm here for a reason. Because if I could have easily been dead. You can die with a paper cut.
Static is a known gang member, ran with a lot of Bloods, a lot of 6 Deuces from an area we call CNC, Cottage and Quarter. If you let Static start to tell his story, he'll talk about the first situation he found himself in. He was 11 years old when he first saw somebody murdered. So like situations like that, you know what I mean? Like he was known for being respected in neighborhoods. He was the dude that'd take something from you and you still just gotta deal with it. So he's been known to be a protector. So I think when you think about his past in that way, like protecting his family, protecting the people he loves, like willing to harm somebody for those people, it makes sense why he does the work that he does now.
When you wanna reach people in the street, you gotta get people from the street. If you can get somebody that convert, that has an influence, that can easily turn this neighborhood, this community around, it's a win-win situation. For this job, and it helped me find out a lot of things about myself through the training, and the more I did it, the more it became a part of me. The more I did it, the more I had to let things go because I'm definitely a reactor, and I'm definitely aggressive. People in the community, when they say thank you, that's a genuine thank you. Help somebody in the community come up out of a rut, come up out of poverty, get some type of help to pay a bill, get them out the street, get them certifications, help them start an LLC, develop business credit, all that. Them thank yous are genuine. You know, it's also a new violence prevention program coming from Mission STL.
Because I knew Static before I ever personally met him. Like, he is a legend in different neighborhoods, like, for things that he's done in his past. So we have mutual friends, like people that I know, and I knew him from the hood he grew up in, and it heard his name growing up. So I always was aware of who he was from the negative things he had did in the neighborhood. Man, I had a chance to meet with him around the violence intervention stuff and just saw like, this is a different person, you know? So it's been beautiful to see the image that I had of Static and how he's changed, and he's now using the influence that he had in those neighborhoods to now impact those neighborhoods. It's been a beautiful thing to see.
It's all about creating a village that once raised a child, not turning them into the police, because sometimes jail, it says correction center. I don't see no correction in a lot of it. I've been in jail and I passed somebody an envelope to write his mother. I went to the hole for passing contraband when I clearly showed him this is a plain envelope. I went to the hole for feeding somebody that didn't have nothing to eat. They thought I was trying to start a store. No, I just had a lot of canteen. I'm feeding somebody that was less fortunate. And doing this work, I done found out a lot of resources. I done merged with a lot of different organizations. But I had to also figure out who moved in this organization. Because it's one thing to refer a person to a place and they go there, but nobody looks at them. I kicked in doors. Not literally talking about I kicked in doors. I had to kick in the organization to do it because I sent people to them over and over again. And they say this what they do. So I found myself coming out of my pocket a lot of times. My work check, but some people need help right then. I've always been helping throughout the history of me being who I am. Paying people bills, giving people places to stay, helping people get cars, helping people dealing with static problems, everything else. I've always been that type of person.
So the funny thing is, you might catch Static at a bar, you might catch him anywhere. There's been times I done been out at a space and he already there engaging with people and trying to dissolve situations and just being a presence. So I've seen him just in my regular life doing his regular work, you know, without even planning for us to kind of connect in that way.
I danced in and off, on and off stage. I did a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, but the streets took that away from me because I wouldn't leave the streets alone. The streets have no heart. The people in it might have, but the streets have no heart. I pray, I read the Bible every day to keep myself grounded. But helping people, that helps me keep myself grounded even more. You know what I'm saying, other than be destructive. But this constructive work that I do by helping somebody, that helps ease all the things I'm going through, because I'm human, I get upset. And I'm still aggressive. But I just learned how to channel that aggressiveness into something positive.
When you think about intervention work, a lot of people lose their life for disrespect. And who's gonna police that, right? So our heartbeat is to say, like, in order to stop somebody from that's been disrespected from acting out, somebody that they respect must be able to step in. And Static fits that picture perfectly. Like, he's respected by the community, he's respected because of his change, and because of that, he can go into situations where people feel disrespected and be able to de-escalate their situation because they respect him.
I made a name for myself throughout the city and the county, so I can go any place, in any corner of the city. You know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of places are in enemy territory, I don't have no problem with my enemy because they know I'm on a different mission. They know I came to help. They know how I can be. And they analyze and they look on what I'm doing, or they see where I'm going with what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So they stand down and get on the same movement. Because for me to change in the eyes of a lot of people which knew how I was, I mean, the neighborhood, the police department, a lot of people know how I was. And I was no holds barred type of person. I didn't care. And I reacted instead of thought. You know what I'm saying? Now I think I'm my first mediation every morning I wake up, because I have to have a calm head to deal with the type of situations that I walk up on.
Bravery it takes. Like, one thing that I just encourage the public is to know that these guys are walking in a situation, they're inserting themselves into dangerous situations. In some cases, honestly, situations that even a lot of people just don't want to be in. And that takes a lot of courage, but it takes a lot of trust, but more importantly, it takes a lot of love, right? It takes a lot of love for a city, a lot of love for a community, a lot of love for a group of people, for you to go insert yourself into harm's way without knowing what could possibly take place.
We've been through life. Everybody been through life by themselves. So you know who you are. Don't let other people and other words define who you are. They can call me anything. Just don't call me Collect. I don't care. I'm saying, I know who I am. I'm Adam Butler. I'm saying, I tried to stray away from my street name so long, but it stuck on me. So I made it into a positive. You know, when I got into the job, I got my first business card. It said Static. I was like, man, my name Adam Butler. We like Static. I said, all right. So it tickled me for years, even though I heard my name throughout the street, because people, grandmamas and everybody called me Static. But when I heard a politician calling my phone and say, Mr. Static, I'm tickled inside. You know what I'm saying? When I heard a lot of these people that go like, Mr. Static, I'm like, okay, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? But I had to change into a positive, because that name used to be so negative. It's a lot of people trying to get that name, or have that name, or call themselves that name. That's fine. I can't repeat a third of my history, because like I said, I'm a walking blessing. I ain't supposed to be standing here right now, for real. But I'm glad that I found something to channel this, to change it into a positive.
I think this is huge for our community. One, we've seen these types of models work in other cities, I think, number one. But I think number two, for us, it's about shedding light on the work that's actually taking place. When there's so much violence going on, I can understand people wondering, like, what is happening? Or these guys really putting a dent in anything? And I've seen these dudes in situations where people on both sides got guns, they de-escalated their situation, and often the community doesn't get a chance to see those things happen. They only see the negative things that actually take place. So I think for us, it's to shed light on the work that people like Static are doing, and make sure that the community has education around what it really means to do intervention work.
I choose to help because I'm tired of it. I choose to intervene because it's too much. You know what I'm saying? You look at the news, you see 3 kids got shot and all of them under 16. Well, an elderly got killed for her car. It's just too much.
Man, we believe at the core is love is the solution, right? So the more that we're able to know people, the more that we're able to build relationships, the more that we're able to know what's happening on our streets, we think as that happens, as people are reconciled to each other, man, violence goes down, gun violence goes down, homicides go down, all because of relationship.
I was friends with this guy, whatever, and he ended up going to Mission St. Louis, and I liked what they were saying to him because he was trying to make a change for himself. So I'm like, okay, how do I get involved? So the man named David, he was like, just start coming to class and we all take it from there. I was liking the classes. Basically, you could pay to just sit down and just hear the people out, like hear what organizations that's out there, resources and stuff. So in April of this year, a situation happened with me and my child's father. And in that situation, he caused a shootout, and I ended up getting shot 2 times.
Told my siblings to get down. I turned off the lights, so they won't look in there because it's gonna be dark. And I told her to get down, but she kept crying, so I just took her with me. So I just put her in my mama's room and put her on the floor. And then my brother, he went to sleep because he hate loud noises. And after I went back in their room, Aaron was gone, and I didn't know where he was at, but he was literally under the cabinets. And I was like, it's okay, Aaron, it's okay, I got you. And he was very scared, he was crying. And then my baby sister, she was just screaming and hollering. And then when my mama went to the hospital, I just was crying. We was all crying.
I just been going to different therapies and a lot of different things. I ended up getting them help as well. Because my oldest daughter, she like be in like a depressed, lonely mode. Like she don't want to, she just shuts down. And my son, he always hiding like up under cabinets or up under a bed when he hears loud noises or like police and stuff, because they actually seen everything that was going on.
It's compound trauma, right? So you're seeing violence, and I often say when you experience extreme violence, often you respond with extreme violence because that's what you expect. So I think even for Adriana, the things that she experienced in her home, you know, allow her to begin to see like, hold on, like I need to do something about the mental experiences that come along with this piece, not just for her, but for her children as well. So she was able to get connected to some counseling, start to deal with that piece with her children, which I think is hugely helpful. And in our community, like counseling is taboo, you know what I mean? Like often people don't take advantage of it. So when you see someone that has a desire to grow, take advantage of it, that means a lot.
Because I had a bullet stuck in my shoulder still, so yesterday, Diamond Divas referred me to an organization called BRIC, and they ended up taking out the bullet yesterday. I suffered with it for 6 months.
I'm just glad that she's here because I thought I was going to lose her, and I'm just glad she's just sitting right here, because when that situation happened, I thought I was going to lose her because my TT said that my granny kept saying that she was gone, but I just kept feeling like she got this, she's still alive. Because I kept seeing her arm do this, so I was like, yes, she's still alive, thank you, Lord. And when she was in the hospital, I kept praying in my sleep and before I go to bed. And when I get in the shower, I just pray before I go to bed as well. When the police had came, they came and checked up all of us, make sure it wasn't no blood on us. Then they said, just come outside. And I was like, I was scared for a second. And they was like, you can come see your mom. And then I gave her a hug and kiss. And I said, I'm going to be there for you, mama. And then she said, okay. And then when I went to the hospital to see her, I just gave her a kiss, hugs. And she was just crying. She was like, I wish I was with y'all. And I was like, mama, we got you. We always will forgive you. And she was like, that's my baby.
I think it's important to help people who've been through this type of trauma. One, because I know what it means to experience that type of trauma. I often say if you want to serve individuals, you have to understand the shoes that they walk in. And I think number two, a lot of what we see happening in these communities are really expressions of the trauma that people have experienced. So really, if we want to deal with the violence, we have to deal with the thing that's underneath it all, which is the trauma.
So like 2 days after I was shot, I was in the hospital and stuff. I ended up reaching out to my case manager there because she had heard from me in a while. So I ended up reaching out to her and telling her the situation. And we was just crying and talking and stuff, and she was praying. And she was like that she was going to continue to be there, make sure I call her every day, make sure, just check in. Got like in a depressed mode and was like, I have to figure out a change for me and my kids. And so they was like, Miss Diane, she was my case manager there, and she was helping me a lot. Like making sure I come to classes and make sure helping me get out of the depressed mode and stuff like that. They've helped with like my daughter, like Pampers and food and stuff, like if it's needed. The future, I see us smiling more, getting out more, because it's just, just us. So, yep.
Diamond Divas is another amazing program in the community that really does work around domestic violence. So we were able to connect her to Diamond Divas to help her deal with some of those things that she was wrestling through. But she really enjoyed her time here. I mean, the classes that we do around reconciliation, around conflict management, all of those different pieces, I think were things that she just put in her tool belt and has been able to utilize. On top of that, taking advantage of counseling for her children, things like that, to deal with the trauma, because often we experience violence and we become numb to it, right? And we don't, subconsciously, we don't even realize how much we're being impacted but we are being impacted in how we communicate with our children, how we think about their experiences. So I think for her, it was a great opportunity for her to not only connect with the classes and our success coaches, but more importantly, to connect to that opportunity for counseling as well.
I didn't know it was this many people that actually cared, that was like right involved, and like was phone calls away. In Mission St. Louis, they've always reaching out, make sure we are, I'm making sure I'm achieving my goals that I wanted, that I wrote down and stuff.
So when we heard about Adriana, we were like, man, her story, the things she's experienced, the fact that she was already connected to our programming, she was a perfect fit for Stay in Power. Give them an award, and really it's just to say, don't get weary in your well-doing. Like, we believe in you, we need you, we haven't forgotten about you, and we want to spur you to continue on. So for her in particular, she had been working with our programming, so some of our case managers kind of nominated her to be a part of it, and once we heard her story and the things that she experienced, we felt like this is definitely a picture of Stay in Power.
It makes me feel good, because these are like people that I've never met. And it's like different organizations getting involved, and it's real helpful. I know I can't give up because I have children. My kids are like my go-to. Like, looking at them, it's like, you cannot give up, Audrey. You got this.
She's the best mom ever.
Our donors, what helps keeps the doors open. That's what helps pay salaries. We have a lot of great people working for us, a lot of people passionate. It's nonprofit work, so we don't make a lot of money. A lot of people that are really passionate about what they do.
It's important to us for people to know that when they donate to an organization like ours, that it goes to people, it goes to the ground, that it is actually transforming someone's life. And so as people give, it's going to the programs that train people, it's going to the housing work that we do to make sure that seniors and residents in our community get to stay in a healthy and safe home. And then it goes to education as well, to make sure that our students have the opportunity that they need to succeed.
The people who come through these doors are really family. They turn into family because these are people I see in the neighborhood every day.
I say it all the time. When you walk in here, you have to know that you are loved and that you are wanted. If you can believe that, man, the program aspect of what we do is super easy, right? It is believing and knowing that who you are is beautiful, is good, and that you matter. When you have that purpose, man, violence goes away, gun violence goes away, employment goes through the roof, but you have to know that somebody's in your corner. You have to know that you're loved. And we as an organization, that's what we've signed up for.